What up, YouTube? So here we go. My next list is basically, right now I'm putting it out on the ground. I'm putting it all out there in the open. My top 25 films of all time. Now take notice that this list does have some movies which I basically implied the entire franchise. I know that's unfair. It seems unfair. And if it's certain movies, obviously I'll note my favorite of the franchise. But I am going to put the whole franchise as a whole, because it's really unfair to break up and say, this is definitely better. Well, it is, but the whole franchise as a whole was good. You can't just say, that's like saying Star Wars and going, Episode 4 is the best. Okay, maybe it was, or Episode 5 is the best, maybe. Maybe it was. But, if you like Star Wars, you have to like the whole thing. To say you don't like the whole thing implies not liking it enough. I mean, if someone was to make a list and say, Episode 5 was the best, the rest sucked, well, then you don't like Star Wars. I mean, you can't like one of them and not like them other ones a little bit, okay? So, take that in mind. This is my opinion. This is my thoughts. This is my list. So I'm going to break it into two because it's a long, 25 list is a long list to explain and to film. And the last 10 I did, the comic book movies, that took almost 10 minutes on its own. So, here we go. Start the list. Number 1, American Beauty. I have done a review on this. It's going to be posted pretty soon after I do these lists. It is one of my favorite movies. It has one of my favorite actors of all time, Kevin Spacey. It won an Oscar for Best Picture. It is a fantastic film. If you have not seen this movie, go out of your way and see it. Just check it out at least once. Number 2, The Shawshank Redemption. Stephen King adaptation. Maybe not the most accurate, but a fantastic film. Tim Robbins and another one of my favorite actors of all time, Morgan Freeman. Just a fantastic film, very well done, very uplifting, very happy ending. Number 3, The Dark Knight. Obviously, this was on my comic book list. This is my number 1. Hence, it's one of my favorite movies of all time as well. It just holds up. You don't have to enjoy it as a comic movie. You can just enjoy it as a great acted action movie. So, next one, Star Trek. Okay, I put down the new one because I think it did just a great job of rebooting what we loved about the original series. Now, that's not to say my favorite Star Trek. My favorite Star Trek movie of all time really is number 2. So, it's hard to say between the two. So, I put down Star Trek basically as a series. It's hard for me to choose a Star Trek to say that's the best one ever. So, Star Trek as a whole. Next one, Die Hard. I put down the original. Now, that's not to say I don't like all the series. The entire series is great, but the original one is the greatest action movie of all time, let alone any other film out there. It is, it's been voted on by many people. This is the number 1 action movie of all time. Nothing else can top it. So, Die Hard, the original, fantastic film. The Matrix. Now, I could simply say the first one, but I liked the second, and I had parts of the third I really liked too, so I have to put down The Matrix as a series. It was a fantastic series, very well done, visually amazing, blew the water out of special effects, it changed things quite a bit. Just a great, great series. Hard to believe, obviously there are a lot of people who don't like the second and third one. That's their opinion, they're entitled to it. For all my friends out there on YouTube, Star Wars. Now, once again, I will say Episode 5 is my favorite of the Star Wars series. Empire Strikes Back is, hands down, in my opinion, the best Star Wars movie ever made. That being said, I love all 6 of them like my family. I can't dissect and say I hate them, any of them. People who go, oh, I hate Episode 1. I agree, Episode 1 may have been the weakest of all 6, but I still love that movie. I'm sorry, I can't dissect it. Oh, people go, I hate Jar Jar. I like Jar Jar. In fact, Jar Jar to me is funnier than C-3PO. C-3PO is just horribly bad with the puns. Anyway, moving on. Lord of the Rings. Once again, could split this and say Return of the King, best movie of the series. But I want to say all 3 of them are one big piece, like Star Wars. You can't really split them up. They're all kind of important in that way. Saving Private Ryan. The World War II epic. If you haven't seen this movie and you have a faint heart or a weak stomach, probably not the movie to see. But otherwise, as far as World War II films go, you really can't do better. Steven Spielberg did such a fantastic job. He also put in, there's another movie on, I don't know if it's on my list, I don't think it is. It's right up there, Schindler's List. It's a great, fantastic film. It just makes you appreciate life. It really does. Next movie, A Few Good Men. Definitely one of the best courtroom dramas I've ever seen, let alone just superb drama. Tom Cruise, Jack Nicholson, Demi Moore, Kevin Bacon, Kevin Pollak, Kiefer Sutherland, Noah Weil, Cuba Gooding Jr. The list goes on. J.T. Walsh. It's just a fantastic film. Aaron Sorkin wrote it, and Aaron Sorkin knows what he's doing when it comes to drama. He wrote The West Wing. He wrote Studio 50. I think that's right. Just a fantastic writer. Great movie. Okay, Unbreakable. I had to put it on my list. It's one of my favorite films. Well, I put it very low on my list, on my comic book list. It's still one of my all-time favorite films. I know it doesn't make any sense why it's number 10 on my comic book list, but almost everything else that was on my comic book list didn't make it into this list. I can't help it. Unbreakable, in my opinion, is one of the best written films out there. I love the pace of it. I like the way things unfold. It's just brilliant. And then the final part of my first part of my list, my first 20 part of my list is Cinderella Man. If you have not seen this film, do it. Russell Crowe is fantastic, as he usually is. Renee Zellweger is great in it. But more importantly, Ron Howard does an amazing job. It's just a fantastic film. Heartwarming to know that it's a true story. That this guy really did pull off this amazingly miraculous, just wow, come from behind kind of thing. Anyway, so that's the end of the first part of the list. The second part of the list will be coming up in the next video. Alright guys, so until then, keep watching.